What's up, everyone? It's the business over here. We're looking to bring you a new podcast over here that we thought of. It's called Generations. Kind of excited to be doing it with my man here, and pretty much be chopping it up with my bud, bringing on some guests, letting you guys kind of know what's going on. But I'm gonna let him introduce himself. I'm your host. I'm the business.
And I'm the co-host. My name is Tristan. People call me T Mun, and I'm super excited to be doing this. I mean, we're going to be covering all kinds of topics, anything pertaining to pop culture in general, sneakers, fashion, music, art. I mean, there's so much for us to talk about. I don't think we'll ever run out of topics, and I think that's what's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't wait to, when you and I first started talking about this, when you came out with, your podcast that, Mind If I Crash, I was super excited to hear that going on. And I was like, oh man, we got to start our own thing, doing a little webcast too, and I think we did the right thing. And, I'm happy that episode 1 has finally come together.
That super pilot episode.
Yeah, it's like awesome. Super excited. We're doing this pilot with you, and we're gonna chop it up like you said. We're gonna talk about fashion. We're gonna talk about art. We're gonna talk about music. We got shows that he and I both like that we're just gonna recommend to y'all. You can watch them, you cannot. It's totally up to you. You know what I'm saying? And that's just kind of what we're trying to bring. You know what I'm saying? This is our platform, so this is what we're gonna do. We're not gonna go into other people's lanes. We're not gonna talk really politics or religion or nothing like that. I sometimes, little touchy subjects will come up, if it's a trending topic that we need to talk about, we'll definitely do that. And we'll let you know what I'm saying? What our point of view is. And the reason why this show's called Generations is because, I'm an older man and this is my son here and he's 24 years old and he's from a totally different generation. And we thought that it would be cool to kind of bring 2 different generations to light, kind of give you our insights and, you guys see how different our generations are, but how much, we're so much alike too.
Right. And I think just seeing 2 points of views from 2 different generations is something that is a great idea for a webcast. And also, by the way, anyone that is creative in any way or would like to jump on, we would definitely be happy to book an episode. I mean, we love asking questions. We're both curious cats, dude.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, and that's kind of the point to our whole situation here. We came on. We're gonna have different people on every week. We were lucky enough to reach out to my cousin Easton and Tristan's cousin Easton, who's a MMA fighter and a father, and what I'm saying, he lives the life and he does his thing and he trains hard and he works hard and we're excited to have him on. We're going to talk to him about what he does, what his life is going on. You know what I mean? And then because of the MMA background that he's got, we're going to pick his brain about UFC 253 last night and kind of recap that.
What a night! What a night!
I was excited. For that. I couldn't wait to get home. We watched it. You know what I'm saying? Some good fights. Couldn't complain, really. You know what I'm saying? I know that, a lot of people wanted to see Adesanya lose, and I know that that's why he was barking at the end there. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. I know you mad. But hey,
he was in his bag. Let's just say that. Right.
So, I don't know if you want to continue to kind of give more insight onto what it is that we're going to do here. If there's, we got like 12 people watching right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
If anybody drops any comments, I'll be more than happy to put them on and he and I will answer them, the best way we know how.
I'm super excited to be doing this, mostly because there were so many times, I mean, we're talking years of conversations built up where we wish the world was able to see it, regardless of how many people were around. We always kind of did our own thing. We would have these in-depth conversations about absolutely anything and everything. Yeah. And, we're so much alike, yet we come from those 2 generations. I just think it's awesome to see where this goes. I'm super excited.
Definitely. So that's kind of what we're going to bring to you guys. That's kind of our introduction and our explanation of the podcast and what it is that we're going to be looking to do. What we'll do right now is we're going to bring in, Easton Johnson. He's going to come on. He's going to tell you guys, like I said, about the MMA world, his life as a father, and all those kind of good things that he enjoys, training, weight cuts, all that kind of fun stuff that fighters love to do.
So fun.
Yeah. They all love the weight cuts, man. It's the worst. Yeah.
I can
So
only imagine.
yeah. So we'll bring him on. We'll talk about that, and like I said, and then we'll start recapping UFC 253. You know, pick his
There's a
brain
lot
on that
going
as
on in
well.
sports right now. There's so much going on.
I mean, we'll chop it up about that later. You know, after we have Easton on, he and I are going to talk about, you know, the NBA bubble, the playoffs, you know, what's happened, some NFL matchups. You know, I'm excited about tomorrow night's matchup, you know, between Baltimore and Kansas City, and you and I are going to probably talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Everyone's looking forward to see that. And anyone that's watching live, drop your opinions, drop your comments in the chat. Let us know what you think as we're going.
Yeah. Much love. We truly appreciate it. And like I said, right now we're going to go ahead and bring Easton in. And
what's going on?
What's up, big guy? How you doing? Everyone, this is Easton Johnson.
What's happening, y'all? Yeah. So,
Getting
we gotta
to it.
Get to it and
So,
talk about the
we
fights
definitely
that
got a
you guys
lot to cover today. And I'm definitely looking forward to kind of getting filled in by you as to what happened with the Browns game. Like, you know, I was at work, lots going on, and it kind of seems like it was a little bit all over the place.
Well, I tell you the truth. I was actually at a jiu-jitsu seminar with this guy, Neto Gomez. He's a black belt out in California that won some titles and stuff like that. So he actually came in. He's like one of our like distant head coaches at our school. So I actually missed the Browns game, but they won like what was it, 34-20 or something like that. They actually did a good job. I was kind of shocked. I'm like, cool. All right, the Browns won. So, but can't really talk about the Browns because I didn't get to see it. I was getting choked out by a bunch of black belts. So it was a good day in my eyes. Good day for Cleveland too.
Right.
The Indians won, so they clinched the home opener for I think tomorrow or the next day against the Yankees.
Isn't that ironic?
Yeah.
That is ironic, isn't it?
So that's good though. We'll keep that here. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, that's the plan, definitely. You know. So what you been up to? I know you said you were gonna compete yesterday. Did you get a chance to compete yesterday?
Yeah, I was talking with Tristan a little bit about that. So yesterday it was like a super fight. You do was it? I would say a one full match. It's 6 minutes long. It's submission only, so there's no points. So it's a little tricky because the rules are a little different when you go into overtime. So like mind you, we were both hunting for submissions. I actually kind of ended up pulling a little bit of guard because he was like 6'1", 6'2". He was really long. So I ended up pulling guard and trying to fight for submissions from there, and it almost worked out here and there, but he got out. Same with him, but my guard tension was really good, so it was hard for him to even pass guard. And as soon as he maybe did like a half guard, I'm already working in full guard. So I'm trying to get recovered completely. But when overtime happened, the overtime rules are modified like IBJJF rules. So your opponent can choose two different positions. One is called the spider weave, where it's basically he has you in an arm bar, but your arm isn't fully extended, so you're able to clasp and try to hold on. But I didn't get the chance to do that because after I took his back, the other way is that you already start with seatbelt position on somebody and your hooks in, and they have to get out or you submit them. Well, I got to go first, and there was only like 50 or 10 seconds left on the clock because you get a full minute to try to escape or submit. And he got out, so he took my back, and I kind of made a wrong error on placing my hands, and he ended up getting the rear naked choke pretty easily, which I was very disappointed on. But usually I don't let people take my back, so it's like I'm like already in a weird, really bad position. Like somebody who's already got his arm around you is not good.
The
So
odds against you.
yeah, you were already at a really bad position. You should not let that happen. Like if somebody's got the seatbelt on you and you haven't started trying to protect yourself, because I did try to start like this, but they're like, yeah, you have to let them get the seatbelt fully in. I'm like, hell with that. I don't want that. But that's how the rule set. So you make it work. Next time I'll be a little bit more informed. So it was just fun to do. No stress in that one. You don't have to worry about getting punched in the face. So I was very a lot calmer. But in the start of that one, we like stared each other down for about a good like 20 seconds because they didn't just took a little bit of time to start the match. So we're just staring dead eye, and I'm looking at him too because I usually do this when I'm fighting, and the whole Mike Tyson thing. Like you look him in the eye, if he blinks, he loses contact with you. You already got him, kind of deal. Well,
Yeah.
me and him didn't break eye contact, so it was just like, oh man, he's trying to mind f me right now. And I'm like, oh, all right, I see your plan. It was kind of fun. It was fun to see that kind of intensity coming back at me. I'm like, and we both weren't wrestlers. We both come from wrestling background schools, but we never really wrestled in high school. So, like, I knew I wasn't going to shoot, and he kind of figured maybe I was. So he's playing very defensive on that regard because he knew I was decent with my triangles. And so it was kind of a weird situation. One of us was going to have to pull guard. So there we go.
Wow. How does that all break down? I know they do it by belts. I saw you were doing belt and weight class. Is it based off both?
Yep. Actually, supposed to be at 165, and he was at 170. He dropped down to 65, and I was at 160 because I'm like, I can't make it, but they're like, it's 5 pounds, whatever. If it was a little bit more like strict, I would probably put some like water in my pants or something. I like put a bag, try to weigh myself a little bit down, just to make sure. Because usually, me personally, the only time I really have to worry about weight cuts, and it does suck. You guys talking about that's the fun part nowadays. But doing it for the MMA, you have to. So I'm pretty good about that. But I like being at my normal weight, playing around. It was even funny too because you could hear me like not making jokes, but my corner guy was trying to say something, and I was already on the other half of the mat, and I'm like, "Hey, can you speak a little louder?" And everybody kind of cracked up, and he did, and he gave me an option. He's like, hook the leg, and I was able to get a sweep. So I mean, it worked.
Nice.
So,
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. How much training led up to this most recent one? Because I know you've been training kind of, semi part time. Because I know you were looking to try to get into a fight. I know fights are struggling right now up there in Ohio to try to catch one. I don't know if they're back up and going yet. But last time I know we talked, you were trying to find something up there. If not, try to find something down here with us. There is something I think that's going on just this past weekend, just yesterday, out
Tampa
area, out here in the Tampa area.
Yeah, DJ Jacobucci is actually was fighting there.
Yeah, I remember, that's what I'm saying. I think you and I talked about this the other night.
And, Upgraded Industries, I believe he's fighting out of.
Okay. Got you. So they actually Upgraded Industries does a lot of jiu-jitsu matches and stuff like that up here. They might be affiliated with that kind of organization.
Yeah,
because they sponsor guys.
So I wanted to ask you something, Easton, because me and T were looking the other day, and I was actually watching some of your fights on YouTube, and I remember watching you, and your eyes, just like you said, the stare down. And I was like, he looks like a madman right now. I mean, just ready to go in your zone. I had a fighter on my podcast this past week, and that's something I want to know from your point of view. How much do you think the intimidation factor plays a part in winning the fight or not?
It totally does. Because I've seen it in myself and a couple other guys. That what's it called? You kind of break a little bit. I remember going against a dude, and he just looked disgruntled. He straight up disgruntled. I was like, man, he's got a chip off his shoulder, and he was kind of a dick. But and he was stocky, he's built, and I was like, all right, this is gonna be a fight. I'm like thinking about it, and I think that kind of played up to it. You know, I was confident, but I was confident I was gonna walk out of this easy. But but not like, am I gonna get the win or not? That one I would have to catch him on, because I knew he was gonna grind me, and probably not gonna really stand toe to toe and strike. So he was a wrestler. He grinded me out for 3 rounds. I have minor scrapes because he did some salt and pepper strikes on me, but
Yeah.
as soon as I went in there, I'm thinking, right as soon as the cage door locks and stuff like that, I'm like, do I really want to do this? Is this what I want to do in life? And I'm like, you last minute second guess yourself for that quick second, and yeah, you're screwed. So I mean, he grinded me. I've seen a buddy of mine. He was fighting for a title, and he right at the last minute asked to see his dad, and I'm like, what are you doing right now? You don't need his comforts. You don't need that daddy blanket right now. Shit, you're fucking screwed. I'm like, oh, like that's the last person you want to fucking be like, yo, dad, I need my dad right now. No, the hell with that. Like, dad, dude, watch this. Watch me beat this dude's ass.
Right, and I that's got to be an emotional roller coaster that you guys go to, like seconds before the fight, an hour before the fight. I can only imagine what that feels like.
Oh yeah, I mean, I like to laugh, play around. If you can like giggle about stupid shit and play, like it gets you a better ease to handle like some things. Because I mean, once you get geared, it's showtime. But you don't want to be dwelling on that for the whole time. You know, like you weigh in at 12 o'clock, and you want to be thinking about that stuff all the way up until 6 or 8 o'clock at night. That's a lot. I've seen guys pace back and forth for 2-3 hours. I'm like, man, you're messing with your own mind.
Right, anxiety on 10 at that point.
Yeah, completely. I've had it. I mean, I'll be at the gym at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, I gotta get another session in. I'm like, I gotta do it. So.
Yep.
But I try not. Now that I have a different job, I can fall asleep a little earlier. Now I hopefully wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning so I can get to the gym at 5:30.
Right.
And then go to work. Then go to work. And maybe go back to the gym right after work, because that'd be perfect. So.
That's that fighter's life too. You guys are so disciplined. I think that's awesome. When you're training versus when you're not training, what is a day in the life of you?
Oh man, me, I'm taking care of animals and my daughter. My daughter just came back from Sarasota. I had my girlfriend should have stopped by and say what's up to Tony, but they were down there. They spent a whole week and enjoyed it, and
It's
so I had to take care of that. Yeah, oh yeah, it's gorgeous.
That's awesome.
I only got to go once, but I was down there, up here taking care of the animals of the house and stuff like that. We have a bunch of rescues and stuff. So I was doing that, going to work, then train, and then try to let them out like 3 times a day. So it was a little hectic.
Yeah,
Um,
I
but
can bet you're busy.
yeah, but I didn't have winter, so it felt a little, I wouldn't say easier, but I didn't have that anxiety of like, oh, where's the baby?
Right.
Yeah.
We're all
Where's the baby?
fathers
It's
here.
quiet.
We all know how that is.
It's quiet right now. Shit, she's getting us something.
Right. What's going on?
Yep.
That's how we are. We keep Ring doorbells like in any place that we can see her. We have Ring doorbells like all over the
Good
house. It's
idea.
kind of funny that way. We'll
It's a
move
good
it if
idea.
we need to see her.
I
That's
got you.
awesome.
That is awesome. Well, you know, I was when we were talking about your fights the other night, I was telling them how, you know, I had a chance to talk with you about your previous fights before you had taken your break. You know what I'm saying? And you talked about that. And I don't know if Tristan really got to know about like, and I think we talked about it like your focus when you came back, you know what I'm saying? And just how it had changed and what, you know, you had taken a different approach because of the birth of your daughter. And, you know,
Yeah.
that I think was huge when we talked about that. So I think, you know, if you can kind of touch on that for me and kind of, you know, tell Tristan about, you know, what led to, I guess, maybe not in full about the break you took. And then when you came back, how your focus changed.
Yeah. Um, you know, a couple of years ago, about 4 years ago or something, right around there. I went to Thailand to train and fight, and when I came back, spent a year trying to get everything situated, and then found out I was having a baby, so they kind of threw a wrench into things. And I figured I'm like, all right, well, I'll take some time, not train as much, take care of the missus, baby's on the way, cool. Um, and just laid off. Sometimes when you train so much, you kind of just need to take a break, which I did. But when I came back, my daughter was about 6 months, and I'm like, all right, it's time to get grind. And I've like a lot of things with my training. I want to make it higher where I'm at. Um, I definitely want to get into UFC or the ONE FC, but that's a goal. It's gonna take a little bit longer. Um, but my with my daughter born and stuff, it made me realize like I want to always tell her to follow her dreams and to shoot for the gold, whatever it may be. If it's you want to punch people in the face for a living, okay. I wouldn't advise a pretty girl like her to do that. But if you wanted to, I'm like, okay, but I will show you so you save that pretty face. But you know, it's a dream of mine to make it to the stage like that. I've made it a couple big arenas so far, and that was awesome. I would like to travel and like fight overseas in a couple places. Actually, Saitama, Japan would be an awesome place to go. From what I hear, it's a good area where all the sporting events happen and stuff like that. So it'd be kind of fun to fight there. There's a lot of greats fought in that kind of that arena.
That's cool.
Speaking into
But
existence.
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, you know. But so I had that in my back of my mind. Like train hard, fucking just make it work. Whatever means possible. Like I was dragging her to the gym all the time. So when since she was 6 months old, she was in a baby carriage, a baby car seat kind of thing.
The carriers, yeah.
Yeah, I put her
Well,
right on the
Tristan probably lives
sled.
with those right now. Team-Up's like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
toting those things around like,
Yep.
Oh yeah. They get heavy after a while.
Oh, you get a little
But-
workout in.
Oh yeah. Forearm is lock solid.
Right.
But I would even put her on the sled, and just as my personal trainer at the time would have me push the sled around back and forth, and she's just sitting there, I mean, there have been times where she was old enough. She was like, oh well, probably a year and a half, and she was on my shoulders, and as I was on a row machine, just rowing back and forth because she wanted to play with me a little bit. So I just put her on my shoulders, and we just rowed for like 5 minutes. And then she was like, I'm done with this. I'm gonna get off. I'm like, cool, whatever. I still got to row. She doesn't like going to the gym anymore. So I'm cool with it. I'm like, all right. I'm not gonna press the issue. Sometimes I bring her, but right now I've managed where I don't have to, like I was, and I missed that actually because it was fun because I would go train, we play, leave the gym, and then go to the park and stuff and play, and then COVID screwed everything up. So
Yeah,
uh,
that it did.
yeah, it screwed up a bunch of stuff for me, but but you know, it's what it is. We'll make it work. It's a year down the drain, kind of, but whatever.
What a
You get
testament to your work, though. I mean, the determination that it takes to take a baby every day. I mean, that's if you're not a parent, I don't think you realize like that's a lot. You have to be determined to chase your goal.
Yeah, she was. If she was fun sometimes, there's definitely been some bad times at the gym. Huh?
I'm sure. That's always
yeah.
tough.
Oh yeah, she's been plenty of times. As soon as we pull into the drive, she's like, no, 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 no. I'm like, oh man, like baby, I'll give you a fruit snack, and we play. You can play on the tablet. And she's like, okay. I'm like, she's getting stuck to the phone already. I'm like, no, I don't want that.
Right, Aquanaut's always playing in your head.
Oh, it's puppy dog pals.
I get it. Right.
Puppy dog pals, man. What it is.
Oh, that's funny.
At least I can get her into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's all my saving grace is right there.
She wanted that this morning, yeah, or right before we started.
Yeah, right now. I put get them young. The possibilities are endless.
Yes.
So, but yeah, COVID kind of threw a wrench, put me in a weird spot. You know, it was hard to get back into training and get into flux, and especially trying to figure out, like I had finances, they went down, and because technically I quit my job before the COVID happened. So when I wanted to go back and get my job, they shut everything down. So I kind of got screwed the whole time. Everybody got unemployment. I did not. So that was a fun.
So much money too. I mean,
yeah, it was whatever. But right now, working the morning job, doing the tree removal is it's not what I'm used to. But hey, whatever. I'm working. I'm strong, making it work. Got a little bit more time at the home at nights, so I'm cool with that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this time is definitely made for quite the bonding experience for quite a few families. You know what I'm saying? Like, it has totally brought people together. I think a lot of people, that are, in your industry that are fighting, and fighting has slowed down to where you aren't even able to fight, and let's be real. I know you've talked about it. You touched base about it on the previous show that fighters don't really make good money anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real. Like, you guys go out there and you guys, get punched in the face and kicked and choked out and shit, and you don't make good money. For a long time, and even the guys that are up in the bigger shows and are making good money, I think that even they're not being paid enough, and I think that it's almost a shame to see how you guys are putting your lives on the line as much as you are, and they're not making the kind of money that they should be. I just happened to look up, and I'm watching the Miami and Boston game too. So I apologize if every once in a while you guys catch me looking up, but those guys make stupid money, and they're playing a game that they know most of the time, 90, probably 5% of the time, 98, 99, maybe even, they're going home to their
Yeah,
family
Right.
with no
yeah.
bruises, no concussions, no broken bones.
Besides
Um,
last week, because
yeah.
last week was a total shit show.
Well, yeah, I mean, don't
ACL,
get me wrong. I mean,
ACL.
but even then, those guys are still getting paid. Even when they take a bad injury like that and they're out for 6 months, a year, they're still
Right.
making that money because that's part of that contract that they've signed. And I think that that's what's tough sometimes is to see the paycheck sometimes in MMA. I think that, and we talked about this, Easton. I think that Dana has quite the stranglehold on what is able. I know you had mentioned about the one other league, and I want you to talk about that other league and kind of what you know as far as ownership, management, what they're trying to do. Go into that for me if you don't mind.
Yeah, because I don't know it either.
Yeah, so the other league is the One FC. They're based out in Asia. So, and they have cornered that market over there pretty well. It's actually run by he was a Thai fighter. One of the CEOs was a Thai fighter, and he went to like Harvard or something like that. And he was a real intelligent man. Um, Good thing he got out of Thai fighting because he's probably making more money doing what he does now. But he partnered up with like Rich Franklin, and he was one of the UFC champions at one point, and those two have done very well marketing all aspects of fighting over there because they do Muay Thai in their the same night as some of their MMA fights. Um, so that bridges the gap on a couple things because sometimes you get some wrestlers that just grind you out and it kind of gets be a boring fight. But if you throw a couple Muay Thai fights and all you see is bones clashing the whole time and fists, you get a little interested a little bit more. But they treat their fighters very well. They set their contracts kind of nicely. Um, and I know they have sponsors over there um, that help with everything. So that's one thing with the UFC kind of screwed up with their fighters because when they made the Reebok deal, yeah, the UFC made money, the organization, but the fighters didn't. The fighters definitely they lost actually probably more money that they could have earned because of endorsement and sponsorship deals, because they could no longer represent the brand that they would, because Reebok took over and owned everything that was broadcasted. So you, yeah. So that Reebok deal kind of screwed a lot of things up. They are now made a new deal with Venom, and that goes into effect 2021. So I want to kind of see how that's going to change things. So that could be interesting. But I mean, the pay scale for the fighters in the UFC um, is weird. I think it's really on a low scale. Say if you have like 1 to 4 fights on your record or whatever, they can pay you only like they're allowed. I wouldn't say allowed. They will only pay you around like probably $6,000 to fight. So they're definitely because you're a new name and stuff like that, but um, that's still not a lot of money depending on what. Like if Friday night fights or the UFC fight night on Fridays, stuff like that. Some of those guys walking out with like 12 grand, maybe 20. Um, Definitely the undercard guys, they're not making that much. Um, like I probably the do one of the other prelims probably made about 60,000. And he's a good prelim. Um, he really was. But yeah, it's funky on how those scales go. Where like you've got some really higher guys, they're gonna bring in the ticket. that's the issue. The pay-per-views and stuff like that. That's how they kind of use that to gauge things. But I mean, it's kind of rough. They don't pay for your medical either or anything, so you're gonna have to bring that out of pocket. They'll pay for what happens when you're there if you have to go to the hospital and stuff like that after the fight, but after probably a week of that, anything further going down the road, yeah, that's all on you.
They're gonna cut that shit off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So there's no real insurance policy for fighters like us, except buying our own, make sure it's good. Getting a really good boxing insurance, and maybe you'll still be all right. I don't know. I've never had to worry about that because I'm doing it for fun.
Yeah.
Um,
and you've been able to protect your pretty face.
Yeah,
Right.
sometimes.
So you haven't taken too much damage. I mean, you're not foolish. So
This Gonzalez nose of mine has been cracked a couple times. It's definitely crooked. One day I'm getting it fixed.
that's okay. That's definitely what it is. So it's just a Gonzalez nose.
Oh yeah, it sticks. It sticks out a little bit.
That's
You
okay.
get bopped in it all the time. But the ONE FC is definitely they hold some really crazy fights, really good fights. They get
I'm
you guys.
interested. Like I'm really interested to look into them some more. Tristan, I don't know if you know too much about Rich Franklin. Rich Franklin's actually an Ohio fighter. He's originally out of Ohio. He made it to the UFC. He was the champ at one time too. I want to say, was he light heavy? Do you remember, Easton, what he was?
Yeah, he was. He was light heavy.
I want to say
Time frame. What time frame was this?
he was probably early 2000s.
Okay, so I was young.
Yeah, like I liked Rich Franklin a lot. He was totally fun to watch. He ran into a young John Jones and just got the tar kicked out of him. But prior to that was Rich Franklin's era.
Okay.
I'll be real with you. Like, if you ever look into a time when you know what I'm saying, pre John Jones era, Rich Franklin was the man. Like I said, he was an Ohio fighter, so I was really always into him. Cheered for him.
Him and Forrest Griffin.
And Forrest
Yeah,
Griffin.
Forrest is a beast too.
Yeah, they
Forrest was fun to watch, and that's what I'm saying. Like, they were like almost the same fighter, but polar opposite looking.
Yeah.
Like, one was a pretty boy. Rich Franklin was this pretty boy, and Forrest was just a good old boy that could fight. You know what I'm saying?
Fighter.
And they both could fight. Like, and it was two totally, but they were like almost the same fighter because they could both bang and punch and kick and wrestle. But I think
He's in
Forrest
the Hall of Fame,
took a better
too.
punch. You know what I mean? I would say, but yeah, no, I love for Rich Franklin. I love that he's, you know what I mean, doing what you say he's doing with this new company. I'd really like to look into it because love UFC, love MMA, and you know that I'm a huge fan. Tristan will tell you he's actually had the opportunities, like when we talked about earlier in the show before you came on. We were talking about our backyard sessions, as we called them back then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was really just him and I sitting out back. We'd be having some TV shows on the TV, have the speaker on, kind of just as background noise for him and I to just talk and chop it up and kind of just have these kind of sessions that we're having right now. You know what I'm saying? But we were doing it in the backyard. And now that we're not with each other together, personally, we're able to do this and have, other people come on and that's what's cool about it. So, I wanted to I'm glad that you touched base about Rich, because like I said, Rich is a tie of all of us, like, you know what I'm saying, the Ohio Bond. I'm glad that he's doing something big. I want to see somebody else do something outside of Dana, because Dana's, I like I said, he's got a stranglehold on the business. Every time UFC sees a real competitor against them as far as ratings or trying to take some money out of their pocket, they buy them out. And I'm sure I'm not going to be looked as very fondly for saying all this, because not too many people talk bad about the UFC, but the UFC pays their paychecks. The UFC don't pay me. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I don't
you're
care.
right.
I'm gonna be real about the business, and I know what it's like. I've talked to a lot of fighters, you know what I'm saying, and nobody has ever said that the paychecks are good. I know that he's made them a little bit better in the UFC, but I still don't think that they're even being paid what they should be. And because of the fact that the top line isn't being paid the way they should be, all the other industries or all the other, you know what I'm saying, functions or whatever you want to call them, they are all not paying the way they should be as well.
Right. They
You
pay
know
the
what I'm saying?
price.
So it's like, yeah, what Rich is doing is super cool. I'm glad that he's able to pay the people. I don't, like I said, I have to look into it some more to just kind of find out for myself. But I'm glad you came on and kind of talked to us about that because, like I said, Tristan told you he hadn't even heard about that. He hadn't even, you know what I mean? So
Right.
this is new to him.
Yeah, the ONE FC is actually like they've got some legit fighters. I mean, you probably Demetrius Johnson, the Mighty Mouse.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's where he went to. That's
he
when they
ran
went
the UFC.
in the trade. That's where he went, ain't it?
Wow.
Yes. So he went over there, and he got a title over there. Actually, he was having a tough time over there than he did.
We got trash ass. What's his name? What did UFC get? What did UFC get? UFC got that trash ass.
Asker, who got knocked out.
Yeah. That Jorge Masvidal knocked out with the knee. Tristan.
Yep.
The running knee. Bing.
Yep.
That's who UFC got in place of Mighty Mouse.
Yeah, and there was a couple of other guys in that trade, but yeah, those
were the two big names. Was him and Mighty Mouse.
Wow, that's crazy. And I do want to touch on something about the way these guys get paid. Sean O'Malley on his podcast, I think it's called The Sugar Show. He talked about it, and he was just like, he's going in because he represents himself. He doesn't have a manager, and he just was real about it. He said, I go in trying to get the most amount of money to fight. They come in trying to give me the least amount of money to fight. He said, it's only fair if we meet somewhere in the middle. And, it's a lot of it is, it's just like a car deal for me. It's a negotiation to meet somewhere in the middle where everyone's happy.
Absolutely.
I feel like those lower end fighters, though, like you're talking about, it can be hard. It can be hard to make your living doing that until you make it to that league. And I think as a fighter, you have to respect it. Like you have to look at these guys on TV and know they grinded to get where they're at for probably years, maybe 10 years.
Oh yeah. You hardly like there was a couple of fighters last night. One dude was 24 or whatever. I can't remember which one that one was. I'm trying to remember right now. It wasn't Kuduku. Maybe it was. No.
Reyes is pretty young, is he not?
He is, but I think he's like 28.
I'm like trying to look at him right now because are you talking about Hakeem? Yeah, Dawodu. That's who you're talking about?
No, not him. There was like
well, Alexa is pretty young.
Yeah, another one right before. But
whatever. I didn't look at the prelim card. Hold on.
It was against Brad Riddell in the prelims. There we go. That's
Alex Da Silva.
Yeah,
you're talking about Alexa.
He was 24.
I was.
Yeah, you're
24, like 21-1 or whatever like that, and that was his record. He had a really good record. But I mean, that's all probably Brazil, so you really can't know what those matchups really were, unless you had video, which I don't know if there probably is, but for some of them or whatever. But like Brad Riddell in the UFC is only like 8-1. Mind you, Brad Riddell has probably had like 50 K1 fights. So his MMA record doesn't like seem good, like great. I mean, 8-1 is fucking awesome. I think he's 6 wins straight right now. But like dude can bang like really well. And So that kind of transition, I think that dude that was 21-1 would actually technically under the payment rules of the UFC probably would make more money than other dude. But I don't know how they translate their MMA record with their actual record of other fights that they've accumulated. So that one's a tricky one, but that was a good fight. I saw there was a switch at the halfway point of like round 2, and Riddell just started coming hard, and it was like that was a fun fight to watch. Because at first I was like, oh, he's getting clipped a couple times, and then he came back, and I was happy because I trained with him out in Thailand, and I was like, I wish I would have trained with him more. So
That's awesome.
That is too. Yeah. That's super cool.
And who were those little guys? They were banging.
Oh, Kai France and Brandon something.
Brandon Royal, I think, or something like that, right? What was that dude's name? Brandon.
I hope that one fight at the night.
Brandon Royval and Kai Kara France. Yeah, that was dude
killing each other
because Kai caught him with that punch, and homeboy dropped, and he stood up and hit him with that spinning elbow. Like, wow! And Kai was like, "Whoa, where'd that come from?"
Literally, like you did not see that coming. He staggered.
Like he literally got right. He like fell back and he got up and just spun with one.
Yeah.
Like,
perfect.
He fell to one knee and then was able to pull a spinning elbow off the one knee. And I'm like, and then rock that dude.
Yeah,
I was like, damn.
They showed the replay and Kai's eyes looked up in the sky like, whoa, where'd that come from?
That one, he tried to recover, but that didn't really work out for him.
And even on the ground, they were rolling around funky.
Yeah, they were good.
Homeboy was able to hit that jumping, guillotine on him and clamped it in tight. You know what I'm saying? And then once once his legs readjusted and he locked in that body lock even tighter, I was like, oh, homeboy's done. Yep. And it was, literally a couple seconds and it was over.
Yeah, it wasn't going anywhere. I mean, he didn't even get like a good hand in, just start to try to defend it. Because, I got caught in a guillotine the other day, and he had it cinched up pretty nicely. And the only saving grace is that I had one of my hands hooked in, so I was able to I was able to fend off a little bit of it. And he held on so much that his arms gave up. Like he was like, all right, I'm done. He's like, I'm moving on to something else because I waited long enough. Hey, look at you.
It happens. That's why they talk about that when guys do that and they jump into those holds too soon sometimes, and they wear their arms out from trying to squeeze it so tight early in the fight, and they're like,
they're gassed.
They're wasting that energy right now, or do you want to? Go ahead and let it go. You don't got a good enough hold. If you did, it would be over. You know what I'm saying? Within seconds. If you don't have that good of a hold on it, go ahead, let it go. Kind of, do what you need.
Swimming. Do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Yep. Position before submission.
Yeah. So, let's see. What else did I want to talk about as far as that card goes? Now that we're on that card, let's go ahead and talk about it. You talked about the Brandon Royval. I caught the later half of the Sajara fight. You know what I'm saying, against Vieira. Vieira looked like she was just bigger and stronger and just hitting her with heavier shots. I didn't really, like I said, catch that whole card.
Yeah.
She, no offense to her, but that was a man fighting a woman.
She was annoying me at one point doing that.
You're talking about Vieira?
My dude, I was getting upset. I was getting mad.
She legit had the frame of a man. She did not have the frame.
She looked scary, dude.
I was definitely brick house.
I was definitely looking at her like I without saying it in that many words, as she's a man. I was like, I was gonna say, she got some broad ass shoulders, dog.
Yeah, it's like Cyborg.
Yeah,
like legit Cyborg. Man, she's a fighter, but she's more like a dude because she's gonna punch you like one.
Yeah.
So yeah, she got clipped a couple times, and that was I was at kind of a bunch of friends get together, so that one I didn't pay attention enough. But they both hung in there, but that reach and the size difference. I mean, even
Major
though they
difference.
weighed probably the same weight, you know she gained more weight to fight this girl, and the other one just had to lose weight. You know, so it's a weird kind of body matchup that as soon as you saw, you were like, all right, well, this one better be good because she's not gonna get past that beast without being good.
Right.
That's true.
And there was
So-
times where I thought she might catch her. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
she
got her.
started fine. She started great, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, she actually did very well still,
Yeah.
but she ended up getting that reach. She found her reach, found her range, started capitalizing on it. So
Yeah.
it took almost until the end of the second round to really start getting that feeling out period out of the way.
Right. And there were some times where she went to shoot and would just, open herself completely up, arms down low, completely facing her opponent. I mean, that's a recipe for disaster. And I think we all know that.
Oh man. Yeah, my little one brow lightsaber. Oh baby.
Come on.
So now one fight I was come here, why not? Come back. The one fight I thought was real interesting because I think that the one guy comes from Khabib's camp, or comes from right around that area. They've definitely trained together. But I can't pronounce the dude's last name right. Hakeem Dahuku is the one dude who won from Canada, and from what I was finding out about him yesterday and a couple of dudes, he's probably got the best takedown defense in the UFC against probably a guy that's very similar to Khabib, and his sprawls were awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could have that type of skill. That was actually he pieced him up very nicely, and I was very happy to see that. See wrestlers get just destroyed.
He is shredded too. He's built.
He was ready for it.
Yeah, he's put together.
Point. He didn't he got taken down once by a guy who's legit a wrestler and good at takedowns, and he tried and tried and tried. I think there was one takedown the whole time, whole match, and there was probably about 8 attempts.
Wow.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Wow.
He wasn't getting it.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of surprised that more people didn't take the Chuck Liddell approach, because Chuck Liddell was a straight stand-up fighter. He didn't want to get on the ground with people and wrestle. He wanted you to stand up and bang with him, and he kind of gave all you fighters the blueprint on how to stop a wrestler. You know what I'm saying? And it's really a sprawl. If you can learn how to sprawl and you can learn how to crossface, you can get out of any takedown there is. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn how to kick them hips back and just wrench one across the jaw, and as you do so, make sure you're throwing punches as they're coming out. And that's what Chuck was able to do, and he gave fighters a blueprint on how to do it. I think that sometimes people overlook Chuck because he could just throw hands so well, but they didn't really truly realize his takedown defense, and he was the one that kind of started that. I think I'm sure there were people well ahead of him that were able to do that and make it known, but he took it to a platform that he was able to, showcase it and show people that wrestlers weren't going to beat everybody up. You know what I'm saying? He fought against a whole slew of wrestlers, a whole slew of them, and forced them to stand up and box with him, and he was going to knock your head up and knock your ass out. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was what was cool about the Chuck Liddell era, is that, like I said, he kind of gave people who were primarily wanting to do stand up, like I said, kind of a cheat code or a blueprint on how to stop wrestlers. I think, you know what I'm saying? And you really have to go back and look at what he was doing. And I think, those people that are that don't like the wrestling game, such as yourself, because I know every time we talk, you're always just like, God damn wrestlers, I hate them. You know what I'm saying? And you kind of, you know what I mean? Always you mumble it. You know what I'm saying? When we're watching, could be when we're talking about Khabib and stuff like that. You're like, damn, that ground and pound is just such a pain in the ass to deal with. And listen, I get it. I'm a wrestler. I mean, that's what I would do to 99% of people too. I'm not going to sit there and try to box with a boxer or try to kick with a kicker. I'm going to get inside. I'm going to pick you up and I'm going to slam you on your head. And then I'm going to try to, you know what I'm saying, do what I can to go from there.
And that's what Costa should have done.
Yeah, it's like, so that's, I mean, I get the wrestler side, and like I said, I get other people's side because of the fact that they can't, they don't like that shit. They don't want, you know what I'm saying? They're like, I don't want to be pummeled, and I don't want you climbing all over me and hanging on my back and punching me in my face from all different stupid angles, like
wearing them down.
Stand up, you know. And I mean, I get that. And like I said, I think that when I watched Chuck fight, I was like, holy shit! I was like, this dude's kind of found a way to force wrestlers to stand up. Like, nah. You're gonna stand up. We're gonna box here. Pop, 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 pop. You know.
Well, that's kind of like what happened with Adesanya and Costa last night. All right, so Costa legit a black belt. Like my the seminar with Neto Gomez today said he's trained with him, and he was like, I don't know why he didn't go to the ground. He's like, you're a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and you want to stand.
Those leg kicks, because those fucking leg kicks kept his ass away.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he kept his range. Adesanya did right by that, but
he
still,
was kicking outside. He was kicking inside. He was pressing on the knee. He did everything he needed to make that fight as boring as possible. He's gonna fight. He's gonna go on to fight probably like Floyd Mayweather and like John Jones and all those other guys that were able to keep people away and keep them a distance. And when they're ready after you're beat up a little bit and they're ready to attack you, they attack you and close the show.
But I don't think it was a boring fight, though. I think that was an amazing fight. And in my opinion, it's just like, I mean, T put me on to a fight where Uriah Faber got his legs chewed up like he was on a chopping block to the point where he was helpless at that point. You know, what fight was that, T?
That was Jose Aldo, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was gonna say it was Aldo because he was That was when Aldo was young, though, and Aldo was a freaking animal at that time, dude. And Aldo would kick it. I mean, you know how people say, "Oh, it's like a baseball bat hitting you." No, this is like an axe. Probably a good, like a good 50-pound leg. I mean, whapping you, and the way Aldo kicked, and he would kick you so hard, he would spin around. You know what I mean? And after a while, it was just, it was sick. I mean, and totally, because when you and I watched it, I was like, just watch what he does, and he butchers Uriah's leg, man.
And it reminded me of that so much. There was strategy. We all knew it. Costa knew it, and there was nothing he could do. For the amount of trash that was talked going up to that fight, I'm a huge Izzy fan. That's what I wanted to see. You know, for me, you really almost walked away untouched in that fight, and essentially did. But point-wise, you almost were untouched the entire fight.
Yeah, he did. Didn't he? He got kind of clipped with a head kick, and that was it.
Yeah, he took one of the ribs pretty bad too.
He got clipped, but really, I mean, he dominated that fight. I mean, I give it up to him. Now, and even the one takedown, I think he wall walked or cage walked back up. So it wasn't like a full real takedown, which sucks for Costa. I mean, definitely Costa probably made some money off that. So, but still, his stock just went down.
Yeah.
And he might not see Adesanya again. Let's be realistic. And even the commentators were like, he's now got to prove himself because he did nothing.
Yeah,
and I feel bad. For a fight, I feel bad for him.
Yeah, they were trying to say that there was supposed to be a rematch clause in that contract, but I mean, I don't see anything that warrants. From a guest standpoint, I don't think Dana wants to see that right this second. He's like, dude, you had your chance. You didn't even
you didn't do anything.
Press the fight at all at any point. You know, he had a very short time, and that's Costa's thing, because I mean, what he was able to do with Yoel Romero,
insane,
was the polar opposite. You know what I'm saying? He was able to press somebody who presses. He was able to, you know what I'm saying, keep Yoel at bay and kind of, you know, do all the things that he needed to do with, you know what I'm saying, with his hands. They had a great fight. I just watched that fight a couple of days ago again, and I was like, man, this is a really good fight. You know, I don't think that it ever got the respect that it deserved, but that was a good fight. I watched because of the hype of coming into this fight, I watched Adesanya versus Kelvin Gastelum. That was a good fight. You know what I'm saying? Gastelum was catching Adesanya more than I ever seen. I mean, was dropping Adesanya pop up like, whoa, hold on.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And was chopping and getting away, and you know, they clip each other back and forth. It was great fight. Great. I'm glad that it led up to that. I think, like T said, I expected for Adesanya to do that to Costa. You know, he's not going to go in there and be foolish. He knows that this big dude is looking to get inside and start banging you. And Adesanya was having nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? He did exactly what it was supposed to.
Well, if you think about it, all right, so you got Adesanya at the same camp as Andre Volkanovski. That was the same work he did to AJ Holloway.
Yeah.
Think about it. He leg kicked the shit out of him for all 5 rounds or whatever. 5 rounds the first fight.
Yeah.
Second fight, it didn't really go the same way, but I mean,
Volkanovski. You talking about what's his name? Max Holloway.
Yeah, Max Holloway.
Yeah, the Hawaiian.
AJ Holloway. I'm thinking of a friend of mine. Max Holloway. That was the same kind of format for
the first fight he obliterated Max's leg, and Max said that he was like, I really gotta step up my defense on the leg kick. I was not prepared for that.
Yeah, I mean, the sad thing is, it's like you can do it, well, you're both gonna hurt. There's like, if you turn your shin out to the outside just enough, you point the sharp edge back at the person that's kicking you. So depending on where you kick, I mean, it's gonna hurt both of you. So like, you do that once, he's gonna realize, I'm like, I don't want to do that again, because there's been plenty of times where I've caught a kick of somebody else's, and they're like, "Oh man, your shins are hard." I'm like, "Yeah." In the back of my mind, I'm like, "Yeah, that hurt me too." That hurt me too. I'm just not showing any emotion at this right now. Can't give you a break. I let you know that hurt. But
that's so funny.
Oh yeah. But I was training a couple buddies of mine, this one buddy of mine, and I gave him, we were training one day, and I put out my leg and told him to kick it as hard as he can, and he didn't. And I gave him plenty of chances. Like, he kept on kicking. Like, he kicked it a couple of times, and I'm like, "Is that all you got?" I'm like, "Is that really all you got? Because you better kick me as hard as you can." And he didn't. And I'm like, "The next time I see you, I'm going to kick you in the leg, and you're going to realize what I'm talking about." And it was a couple of days later, we were drilling, and I know for damn sure he wasn't thinking about it. But we were against the wall, and I kicked his one leg. And I kicked it pretty decently. And I saw him flinch. And like, he winced. He more winced about the leg kick. And I'm like, oh yeah, light bulb. I just remembered. I kicked him twice. 2 more times, really, really hard. I got an instant bruise on his leg. And everybody was like, why are you laying into Jake that hard? I'm like, well, I told him the other day I was going to kick him in the leg as hard as I could, because he didn't kick me back. And they're like, oh, okay. So, justified.
Yeah,
now, and you know what? He kind of stepped up his game a little bit here and there. So, I'm actually happy that I put a little fire into him, because I'm like, all right, because the next time we went to spar, he came out and threw a couple jabs. I'm like, oh, look at you. What happened here? I'm like, you got a little fire on you. And then another time, that same session, I saw him wince, and like, he kind of winced and ducked, And I'm like, don't you stop looking at me. You need to always have eye contact, because if I see you wince, I'm charging you, and I'm gonna bust you up. As soon as I see a little a break in your structure, you're going. I'm gonna hunt. I'm the shark in the water. I'm hunting you down, and I'm gonna. So, but yeah, it was fun days.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
And you're helping him grow too.
You gotta put it on some people like that sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've had it done to me, and I've been probably I'm nice to the I'm nice.
Yeah.
Nicer than people that have done it to me. I've been pummeled, and I'm sitting in the cage in the corner, like getting jacked. And I'm like, shit, this isn't working out right. So
I think T we had touched on the Adesanya Costa fight, but we really totally skipped right over the Dominic Reyes and Jan Blachowicz fight, because we had the three of us were chatting about it before the show began.
Right.
You know, I want, if Easton or T, if you want to go ahead and kind of touch base on what you witnessed last night in that Blachowicz fight with Dominic Reyes, because you and I were kind of thinking Dominic was going to come out, and I don't know if you felt the same, Easton, and kind of put on the same show that he did against John Jones, and we were going to see a new champion as far as Reyes goes, and I don't think he came out with that same fire against Blachowicz. I think he might have overlooked him, and Block came out and knocked his block off.
Yeah, something definitely happened that night. And I know going into it, like, yeah, I wanted to see Reyes win because of the performance he put on with John Bones. Like, he took it to John Jones in debatably a way that no one ever has before. I think I can say that with confidence. No one's ever taken it to him like that. So to put on a performance like that, and then to come into this fight with so much hype and so many people kind of in his corner, especially after John vacates the title, goes up to heavyweight, you assume that naturally he's going to take that title. So he gets in, and was he sleeping on Jan? I hope not, because Jan's a bad dude, and as you can tell, like, he's got bangers. So I think as soon as I saw him coming out, his music started, I watched Jan go into the middle of the ring, and he's throwing punches and he's dipping and he's getting adjusted. And as soon as that happened, I could tell Jan came to fight. Is Reyes here to fight? He gets in the ring. Some look different. Something didn't look like he was when he was getting ready to fight John Jones. And maybe it's the hype of the fight. Maybe because he's not fighting, a legend in his eyes. He came in too soft. But what I can say is that when Jan started snapping those kicks to the ribs, to the head, landing those punches, let's just talk about the rib shot that he took. I mean, that swelling started instantly, to the point where I questioned whether the ribs were broken, whether he was internally bleeding, because that mark looked nasty. That was a disgusting shot he took, and continued to take at least 2 or 3 more good shots to that same exact spot. And I think that's a testament to Jan's, accuracy and precision on landing those strikes. But I mean, overall, he just got beat, and he got outworked in every way on the stand-up side. Not too much on the ground, and nothing really happened. But I mean, a little disappointed, I guess. I had put too much into Reyes. But I'm not disappointed with the way the fight ended. There was a lot of action. As a fan, it was something we all got to see. We're excited to see. And, you can't be mad. There's a new champ, and new. I love hearing that. I love when I hear that come on. So glad for him, glad for Poland. And they asked him before the fight if they thought that Jan's last fight was one of the best fights that Poland's ever had. And he said no, and he paid his respects to Joanna. And I like him. He's a very humble fighter, humble dude. And I think he's going to defend that belt, defend his title quite a few times.
I kind of agree with you on that one. And especially when I heard him started speaking and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, this guy's such a nice guy. Such a nice guy.
Yeah.
But he would rip your head off if he
He
needed.
got hammers. He's like,
I mean, he's like that lumberjack that is gonna just whack you on the head and you're gonna be a spike in the ground. I was like, damn. I mean, yeah, the that leg kick to the side. It was. I think he broke a rib. That was instant, like, oh,
Yes.
like,
Cringe.
oh, you're like,
Ooh.
oh. And you got clipped a couple more times in it too, and luckily for him, it wasn't like 3 inches lower, because that would have been his liver. He would have probably dropped.
He'd have went down for sure.
Yeah, like if he was, I would, in his regard, I'd be happy about not getting the liver, because the fight could have been ended right then and there, because that was probably one of the most devastating kicks I've seen on a body.
Yes.
And like, where it was like, whoa, you've instantly destroyed his ribs. Everybody knows it. I don't know if they saw it, because it's on the side. You don't see it unless he's showing it to you. But the camera told everybody outside watching. And I'm like, guess what? His ribs jacked up right now. So, and then his nose got annihilated.
Destroyed. Chewed up.
I was there, that final clip where he got clipped in the head, right on the temple, is like right behind the ear too. And as that clip happened, you just saw his nose go back and forth. It was bad,
Right.
but it was like, oh yeah, his nose is jacked up. And then it looked better because they said it in the ring. It actually looked better than it probably did before.
Right.
I was like, oh, he's got a nice nose now. It's all cracked back into place. They did that real quick. They're not gonna still let that slide.
no, that was bad, actually. And we were chatting about that before the show, like how it was like almost crooked as a question mark. You know what I'm saying? It was like you could see the top of the nose and the bottom of the nose, and then the middle was like almost at a hook. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, ooh, when I seen him take that, straight right by Blachowicz, and he put one down the middle, right between the guard. Boom, he took it.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
That nose went. I was like, goodness. And
I
you
think-
can just see after that, he was on the back pedal. He was trying to stay away. Block has just hammers for hands, man. I mean,
Yeah.
and like we said, I mean, I could see him defending it for a while, but then again, I mean, let's be real. Light heavyweights are bangers, dude. Like any of them can drop any of them at any time.
Yeah.
I can't, knock anybody that fights up in those upper weight classes, because those are just straight hammers. The lighter weight classes they drop bombs too, but they're just so much quicker in the lighter weight classes, and they don't come with that same power. But I mean, you got to think that it's those guys fighting the same weight class. They're not fighting a big dude. You know what I'm saying? And a big dude's not dropping a heavy bomb on this little guy. You know what I mean? They're fighting guys that are in the same weight class, and then I think that's what's cool about it. But Jan definitely came out. He banged it out. He stuck to his game plan. He wasn't going to let Reyes dictate the fight at all. Reyes never really got going. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, with that body kick, I think that set the tone right away. His body did. I mean, it bruised. He had a big purple bruise up under the armpit there.
Oh yeah.
And it did look broken. You know what I mean? Like something was busted. Listen, we all bruised, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's what we didn't touch base upon on the Costa Adesanya fight too, was they were talking about his legs, but I don't think that those bruises on his legs were from the kicks. I think that he was cupped.
He was, but his knee started
prior
to
to
swell.
the fight, and I think that that's more what that was based on.
Yeah.
With the Costa bruising on the legs, but that bruise on the side of Reyes, that was from a straight kick. That was no cupping. That was the cup of the foot wrapping around the body, maybe,
Right.
and slapping, like, you know what I'm saying, like he was taking a hammer to, you know what I'm saying, or a bat to a side of beef.
Yeah. And he definitely had some cupping done, because he had it actually on his Instagram story. His knee blew up, though. At one point, his knee blew up and was just like a red inflammation around it.
Yeah.
Or that was like on
Costa? You talking about Costa?
Yeah, on Costa. But I remember watching the Reyes fight, and like to myself in my head, especially when that question mark happened, I was like, he came in as the Devastator and left as the Riddler. You know, like ironically with that question mark on his nose.
Mark on his face.
Oh, yeah.
That's the truth.
Well, you guys watch the one fight? What's his name? Diego Sanchez or whatever. He got busted up too.
Oh yeah, there was, I mean, bloodstains on that mat the entire night. That was
You
insane.
talking about the prelims? You talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah, and then was just on the ground getting chewed up.
yeah. Diego Sanchez is. I mean, I give him props. I think he's in his 40s, or yeah.
He is in his. He's got to be close. I would assume. I mean,
he is now.
he
fifth,
won.
I
He
think.
won the original Ultimate Fighter, didn't he? Like, wasn't he?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, there was two weight classes. I think it was him and Forrest Griffin won the original Ultimate Fighter, which was probably at least 20 years ago.
Close.
Yeah, that's what I'm
it was like 18 or somewhere around
Yeah,
there.
that's
Yeah.
like, it had to be close to 20 years ago.
But if you think about it, well, I didn't think about it, but it was mentioned that he is now the fifth, and with the most most fights in the UFC. He's ranked fifth with having that many fights.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's got like 30 or 40 plus fights under his belt, and we were talking about it yesterday with all the guys that his mind's probably not all there.
Has it ever been? Has it ever been?
I don't think so, but I think it's gotten worse.
I remember Diego on the Ultimate Fighter, and he was cuckoo then. So what's happened? What, 18 years later, 20 years later?
Well, all the years of getting punched in the head. He's definitely
a guy, but come on.
Yeah, he's definitely got a couple screws loose.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, they're from what I hear, him and his trainer have been doing some like weird like training out in the woods kind of deal, and I don't hear good things coming out of that corner.
He trains out of like New Mexico or something, dude. That doesn't surprise me at all. Like that he's going out in the desert and doing
some mountain man stuff.
Like
right?
That surprises me none at all. Like I know, you know what I'm saying? Diego, I've always liked the person that he was. He's a good ambassador for the sport. He's a little cuckoo, but great guy. In and out of the ring, always has much respect. I've seen him do some super cool, stuff for, people all around, the country and the world. Like he's such a cool ambassador for the sport of fighting. And that's why he still continues to do it today. It's not about the money. It's not about the fame. Diego knows that he's well known. He's made his money. I think he still does it to try to still, like I said, be an ambassador for the sport, go around, still be a good guy. The bad part is that now in his career, he's getting thumped every time I see Diego. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I kind of feel bad for him because I, like I said, I really like Diego, and I thought that he was always fun to watch. You know what I'm saying? But I think that at this point, when you're taking L's, 7 out of 10 times, probably in the last 10 fights, he's probably taken L 7 times at least. Like every time,
Yeah.
Don't try to. There's no need to try to get the UFC record for that because you end up hurting yourself worse.
Yeah, and no one wants to see that happen.
Yeah.
UFC record for the most loses? No, that's not a good idea.
Right.
But yeah, gentlemen. I mean, hopefully, I like the fights. I don't know who's gonna come up next against Eric Adesanya.
I don't know about that.
He spoke on who he wants to see.
Wow.
He did. Oh,
he did, and I thought that was cool. That he was like,
he showed mad love too.
Yeah.
And I kind of understand where he's coming from. Like he doesn't want to fight the same dude again. Post fight, he was talking crazy, like, "Oh, you want to see me knock him out for the third time? Because I knocked him out twice in that fight." And I'm like, okay, like, chill, Izzy. He was on one last night. Like he was just way too fired up.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it really just depends on how that fight goes because I'm assuming Dana's gonna somewhat force that fight to happen, whoever wins. Um, and Izzy wants it, you know. I don't know if Izzy wants it because he thinks it's an easy win, or if he truly has respect for him. We'll have to see.
Okay.
I like to
Sure.
see. I like to see what happens with that, and if it does come to pass. What I was gonna bring up to y'all both and kind of pick your brains about is the fight that's coming up on October 24th, between Khabib and Justin Gaethje.
I'm
Uh,
jacked.
if that fight does happen, if it doesn't happen, I know that, and I think Easton, like I said, you and I have talked about this before with Bellator and how Dana's going to do it. He's not going to buy out Bellator. He's just going to poach their top players.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's what he's done with Michael Chandler. He went out and bought Michael Chandler, and now Michael Chandler, I know, is the backup for the Gaethje Khabib fight in case something happens with Khabib. Khabib is having some issues with getting out of the country before. Now his father's passed, and shout out to the Khabib family, because I don't want to say that he needs to hurry up and get in the ring. You don't know anybody's how
Where they're at mentally.
yeah, how they grieve, and you can't put a timeline on somebody else's grieving period. You know what I'm saying? I have no right to do that to someone else, and nor do I feel that anybody has the right to tell me how long I need to grieve in the passing of someone that I care for. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if Khabib's not ready to fight, I know that they have Michael Chandler ready, which I think would be a great fight as well. I would love to see Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler fight, because I think that, you know what I'm saying, regardless of who wins between Khabib and Justin Gaethje, I think the next one that they should fight is Michael Chandler, because Michael Chandler can bang. You know what I'm saying? That dude is shredded beef, and he will
Shredded
fight.
beef.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I know he's been tired of running over at Bellator, and he held the title there for a while, and it's time to move on. And I think that he was a great addition to the UFC roster. So I just want to pick y'all's brains first. You know what I'm saying? T, if you want to talk about the Gaethje Khabib fight and your thoughts on that, and then Easton, when we come back on to you, I want to pick your brain about if Michael Chandler and Gaethje will be a good fight, and what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, definitely. What I can say for sure, and this is just obviously my opinion, but Nurmagomedov is such a beast. And Easton, I'm not too sure what's up with the wrestler thing. I'll figure that out. But Nurmagomedov is so dominant, but he's also he'll bang standing up. So I think watching him and Justin fight standing up, it could be interesting. I know how Khabib is. I know that when he's on the ground, you have little to no chance. I've never seen someone perform the way he does for as long as he does. It's to me, I don't see anyone taking his belt anytime soon. That's just my opinion. But that's a bad dude, and he comes from a place where you gotta get it. So, my heart goes out to him for losing his father as his coach, especially. That's got to be a rough place to be. So if that doesn't come to pass, I'd definitely be excited to see a Justin Chandler fight. And Easton, I'm really curious to see where your head's at on all that.
Okay. Hey. I'm formulating my plan, my diagnostic. I think it's gonna be boring. There's Gaethje is good with the hands, and he's got good ground. He got good ground defense. I say, and Khabib ground and pound, stellar. Hands, they're good. They're I wouldn't say they're as good as like Brad Riddell's. You put them in the cage and do like a Muay Thai match or kickboxing match, definitely Khabib's out the window. But Khabib is going to take him down to the ground multiple times. There's going to be a bunch of scrambles going up and down the whole time. Now, I think Gaethje's going to get his licks in from his range and finding his right distance, but it's going to go back and forth to the ground and then back standing up because he's going to get out and get taken back down again. And I think it's going to go both ways at times, actually, but Khabib's going to do it more. Now, I think the only time Gaethje's going to be very vulnerable for something is in the transitions of getting up. Like that, I think that'd be the only time he's going to get clipped with something that's going to get him. Khabib, I think, is going to be fine in those transitions of standing back up and coming back down. He's not going to take too much damage from that area. But I think Gaethje will. That's where I've see him doing that. Though might getting like an uppercut out of like transition from a scramble and getting clipped and maybe going down that way. It's definitely going to be a grinding match. You might not be happy with it because it will go all 5 rounds and it's going to be like maybe not slow pace, but you'll see more of scrambles back and forth. Not a lot of strikes. Not enough as you saw with like Costa and Adesanya. You know, it's going to be you're going to see a good display of technique of like Greco-Roman and like wrestling styling and just grinding out each other. And with the strikes involved too, but nothing fine-tuned in that regard. I mean, it's still gonna be a fun fight to watch, but it's still gonna like because I see those kind of things. I'm like, all right, a little hiccup here screws everything off for the other guy, but it works for him. And because that's the jiu-jitsu mindset, we see a little bit more, and we're like, oh, he just got swept. I'm like, fuck yeah, sweep. But other people are like, they're still on the ground. So it's those kind of things that make the fight fun for jiu-jitsu guys. But I think it might the names they hyped it up, but I think it might be on more of the lower end as an entertainment. But yeah, that's me. That could totally change. Somebody get knocked out in like 20 seconds. I don't see that happening, but I could be wrong.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly feel like, Gaethje's a banger. He's going to force Khabib to have to go into something that Khabib doesn't really want to do, and that's trying to stand up and box with someone. Because I don't think Khabib's ever been hit by anybody that hits like Justin Gaethje. Let's be real. I mean, I've grown up. And I'm sure T, you can say the same, and Neeson, you can say the same. We've all grown up with little jits that look and act just like Justin Gaethje, and they are going to come and they are going to fight you, and they can bang, and they will do everything possible that they can to win a fight. Do I think he's going to beat Khabib? I don't know, but I think he's going to push Khabib to a different level because he's going to punch Khabib in his face. And hit him with elbows and hit him with shots, and he's going to try to defend the wrestling game as good as he can. I think Justin Gaethje can wrestle a little bit. I don't really know if he's going to be able to stop what Khabib brings. Khabib's like an animal when it comes to wrestling. But like I said, I think Gaethje's got some hammers, and can throw them things. I've seen Gaethje get, clipped too, though. So I don't doubt that Khabib can do that to him as well. But I think he's going to force Khabib to have to do that to him in order to beat a Justin Gaethje. You're not just really going to ground and pound him like that. I think he's too much of a knucklehead to just let you do that to him, and that's it. And I feel that, I mean, could it possibly be boring like you were saying earlier? Yes, it could be. Of course, you could just ride him out and sit on his back, and head and chest and shit like that. Could we see that fight? Yeah. Am I hoping to see that fight? No. Even as a wrestler at heart, I don't want to see that fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like to see people banging. I mean, when dudes get clipped and it gets down to a wrestling match, and then they're rolling around and banging and grappling and things come out, that's fun as well. And I mean, is it always fun to get mauled against a cage? And no, but we were talking about it. I think I was listening to it actually on your podcast, T, about how your buddy Mason was talking about how it's about scoring and winning the cards and winning the rounds and doing those kind of things, and that's truly what wrestlers are well known for, are the grappling and kind of mauling you and wearing out the time and winning the rounds. And as boring as it may be, sometimes it's successful. Khabib's the best in the world at it at this moment. Like, let's be real about that. And I think, like I said, Gaethje's got some hammers. It's gonna be a fun fight. I know I'll be watching it. T, I know you'll be watching it too, and I'm sure Easton will be watching it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys both touched on some pretty good topics that I want to kind of reflect on too. You're right, T. Like, we all know at least that one person that's just like Justin, just a little scrapper. Khabib can bang. He can exchange well up top. But like you said, like you guys both kind of touched on, is he great? No, he's good. And that might be a point where he could potentially get caught. You, Easton, were talking about the transitions, and there's times where Khabib, just because of his stamina and because of his control on the ground and in the clinch, where they could be up on the fence and he could put one right on Justin and put him down. I think they're both obviously studying each other to the best of their ability. But to kind of mock a fighter like Khabib, such a high-class wrestler, it's hard to find someone similar, so you could practice your wrestling and your defense all day long, but once you get in there with someone as good as him, it can be scary. Same with Khabib. I mean, once you get in there with that true brawler, that true striker who knows how to put them where they need to be, who doesn't care who you are, is in there because he loves to fight. Could it be boring? Yes, but I think that we might see something cool. I think it's going to go 5 rounds. I think it's going to be a long fight. I think it's going to be a good one, though.
I hope so.
That's definitely the plan. I mean, like I said, I hope I see it. I mean, I'm definitely gonna watch it. I hope it's a good one. UFC's. I feel like. And tell me if I'm wrong, fellas. We watch a lot of these shows with the UFCs, and 90% of them, the undercard is always better than the main event. And I just feel like sometimes the main event just doesn't, it just doesn't, fulfill sometimes the need. They're getting these people to pay these crazy amounts for these cards, and you catching some great fights in the undercards. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the Jan fight. I mean, the Adesanya fight was good. I think like T was touching on earlier, he did his game plan. He wasn't going to sit there and let Costa try to get inside and bang him out and grapple him. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? Costa's a black belt, and that's just the way it is. And hopefully we continue to see some good cards. I'm hoping this October 24 card. I don't think it's fully out yet. I'm sure we could find some notes on it. I could dig into it if I wanted to. But I'm excited for it, and what I'm saying, and I'll be watching it. So
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'm still gonna get it. I'll still keep tabs. It's gonna be a fun night to watch that anyway. Just can't wait.
yeah, for sure. Well, Easton, I appreciate you coming on with us tonight. You know what I'm saying? Chatting it up. I'm gonna give you a, you know what I'm saying, a little time to shoot your piece, talk about yourself real quick, and tell people where they can find you at.
Definitely. You can come check me out at Facebook, Easton Johnson 86. I think that's my also Instagram too. Yeah. Twitter account is like the Rising Sun, but I don't even use that. Yeah, just playing the game. Hopefully you guys see me next year. A little bit more things in the works. Try to see what's going on. Hopefully, as soon as the 2021 happens, we'll get a fight in Ohio, like January. So that'd be nice. So we'll just go from there. Not gonna take another loss. Not this time around. I'm gonna kick somebody in the head. That's my goal. Yeah, land a head kick, have a walk-off finish, and on to the next fight. Only got a few more years, so I gotta hang it up. I don't want to be like Diego Sanchez and fight too long and get messed up all the time. No, not my cup of tea. Like Tony said, is save my pretty face. That's all I gotta do. But I'll be around. I'm trying to figure out some things, get some cameras, and start doing like little small and instructional videos and stuff like that, some training videos, and just show what it's like to grind out and do a lot of some of the work, because there's a lot of things that you will make you more explosive in your strikings, and you would never really do that normally. But if you use a medicine ball right or a slam ball, you can really improve your striking ability. But that's all. I think the little one's ready.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Like I said, I appreciate your time, man. I you know, it's always a pleasure talking with you and getting a chance to chop it up with you. You know, we when Tristan and I first were talking about putting the show together and it being the pilot show, episode 1, we really wanted to have you on because you're such a cool character. Outside of being, you know, a family with us, our cousin, and you know, you're just a great dude, great, you know, great person to have on. You know, you're a father, you know, which is awesome. You know what I mean? You love the little girl, you do anything for her, you work hard, you know, you hustle, you grind, you fight. And we talk about it, man, and that's what's cool. And I'm so appreciative that you were able to get on with us tonight. Hello, sweetheart. How are you? And you know, and we appreciate you for taking a little bit of time out, because I know that you're busy as always. And you know, I'll give you a shout out, and I'll let T do the same.
Yeah, man, it was awesome to have you on. I know that the second we decided we wanted this, we knew we wanted you on. And honestly, I think that conversation started by me saying that I want to get you on the podcast one day. So, you know, we can obviously work that out if it needs to be, you know, scheduled, you know, a month out or so. Whatever needs to be done, I'd love to have you on there. You got an awesome story all around as a family man, as a fighter, just as a determined individual. It's just really awesome to hear your story, and I think a lot of people can benefit and find motivation from you. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. I mean, sometimes now I actually think about like it's totally hypothetical, not hypothetical, but I try to get my mindset. I'm like, what if this dude was actually trying to take my child from me? How do you feel? How would you go about that? Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Right. Right.
So some of the times I think like, yeah, those kind of thoughts kind of bring that like animalistic, like, guess what? You're wrong. Oh, you messed with Papa Bear.
Right. To get you in that zone. Absolutely.
You're not getting away from me.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely.
Gentlemen, with that said, I'm gonna take this little one. She wants something a midnight snack,
Awesome.
and let's go to bed.
All right, big guy.
Thanks for
Love
coming on,
you, dude.
buddy.
Appreciate you so much, Ethan.
Yeah, we'll
Hey,
talk
say
to you
bye.
soon.
Sweetheart.
Say bye. Wave your hand.
Goodbye.
No.
Have a good night, bud. We love you.
See ya.
Buzz.
Oh, that was awesome. I'm super glad that we got him on there. And we'll continue to have him on for anyone that's viewing this either live or after once it's officially posted. You know, we definitely want to keep having him on maybe after every fight weekend. Because he's got a lot of insight, a lot of inside insight on how this actually is.
Personal, he knows he can break it down to you and kind of tell you like, hey, listen, you know what I'm saying, this is what I would do in that situation, and this, that, the other, and I mean, and that's what's big, T. And you know that when you and I used to sit around and we used to chop it up about all these fights, and you know, you were a kid when, you know, we and I
was still a
would talk
teenager.
about it, and we would, you know, it was funny because I broke it down to you as a whole, like, okay, you know, this isn't what it appears to be. It's not just two, you know, animals in there just trying to rip each other apart. That's not what this is. You know what I'm saying? And we would sit there and I'd break it down and you're like, whoa, okay. You know what I mean? And the more I broke it down for you, the more you fell in love with the game. And that's what's cool about Easton, is that he's got that insight into it. He's been in there. He's been in those cages. He's done it. And he's going to tell you what, you know what I'm saying, his experiences were. And he's going to tell you, you know what I'm saying, like what he would do if he was in those situations. And I think that was cool. I think it was a great idea. When you and I talked about it, you know what I'm saying, and you kind of pushed for it, like, let's do this. Let's get Easton on. You know, let's recap 253. You know what I mean? Let's go there. Let's do it. And I was so down for it. I was like, yeah, perfect timing. I think it was, you know, great to have him on, and you know what I'm saying? I applaud you for recommending that as part of being our first show.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm still excited to see the other guests that we get to bring on. I mean, the possibilities are endless. It's just so much potential, you know?
Yeah.
I did see, because I checked right towards the end. Oh, they're tied up right now. Boston Heat. Is that what you're seeing, or is it just what Google's telling me?
I'm a little slight delayed because I'm on the Roku stick, or actually the Apple TV. No, I'm actually on the Xbox in here. But I got 96-91.
Okay.
And it's Boston right now.
Got it. Gotcha.
Which is, it'll be crazy if Boston's able to tie this up at threes apiece. But I mean, I'd like to see who either one of these is a classic matchup. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real. It's a classic matchup versus the Lakers. It's the Heat versus the Lakers, or the Celtics, which is
right.
You know,
some real rich history
the
there.
Yankees and the Red Sox. It's the, you know what I'm saying? It's Ohio State versus Michigan. Let's be real. You know what I'm saying? It's Celtics versus Lakers, you know? So will it be fun to watch? Hell yeah. You know what I mean? So I'm watching this intensely. I think, you know what I mean, you might be right. I'm trying to pull it up live on my ESPN app just to make sure, because like I said, I think I'm slightly delayed on here because I'm based off of, yeah, I am slightly delayed, but not too bad.
Right.
Because I'm seeing 97, 96 right now, and I'm looking up at 96s. So, you know, I don't know how much you got to see of the NBA bubble. I've been watching the bubble since it came back. I was, you know, excited, anticipating it, couldn't wait for it to come back in. So when it came back on, was super excited to see who made it to the playoffs, and then who did what with that opportunity to go. You know, some people had said, you know, is this a real championship? This, that, the other. You know, before we went into this pandemic, it was, you know, I want to say probably about 80% of the season was done of basketball. Right. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like baseball. Baseball hadn't started yet. And, you know, like I said, 80% of this basketball season was finished. So for them to say like this isn't a true championship or this, that, the other, it's those people that are out there that just don't want to admit the fact that LeBron's probably going to win another one. And let's be real, because the way these playoffs have played out, this is a full set of playoffs. You know what I'm saying? What Denver was able to do was phenomenal. What Miami's been able to do is fantastic. What can be more prouder of both of those franchises. Love seeing Boston right here in it. They're a good young team. The Lakers, you know, with what they have, and people just counting them out because of their aged roster. Was it nice to see them make the championship? Yeah, I like to see them in the chip. You know what I'm saying? And they haven't finished. You know what I mean? They still have unfinished business yet, so they can't overlook everyone else. I know a lot of people want to see a LA versus LA matchup. That didn't happen. Denver ruined it. You know, they were the Cinderella in ruining that and coming back in a 3-1 series to clip the Clippers. And Miami did the same thing on the East. You know what I'm saying? Miami was able to knock off the Bucks when everybody thought the Bucks were just going to blow through the East. And I said, hold on a second. You know, in my thoughts, I thought that the one team that could beat Milwaukee was Miami, because Miami was always able to spread them out, shoot from deep, and kind of always keep the score on the other end for them against the Bucks. You know, during the season, they were the one team that was able to, you know, spread the Bucks out and force the Bucks into doing something that they didn't want to do. So I think that, you know, with the NBA bubble, I think it's been great. Like I said, I'm enjoying watching the Eastern Conference. The Western Conference was fantastic. I love to see what Denver did. But you know, they're out now, you know, and it's the Lakers' turn on the Western Conference, and like to see who's going to come out of this alive to match up against the Lakers.
You know, and you touched on it right at the beginning of that is, you know, a lot of people question, is this a real championship? And let's just be clear, to go and devote your entire life as you know it to your career, it doesn't make it. It actually makes it, to me, a true championship mindset, you know. And shout out to Gordon Hayward, because the last I heard, I'm pretty sure he had to miss his child being born to remain safe and to remain, you know, as a teammate, and as a family man. You know, you don't want to take that risk.
Yeah.
And I'm almost positive that I think his daughter was born either this week or she's going to be born soon, and he might not be able to be there for it. That takes true dedication, and players throughout the entire NBA, you know, they gotta really commit to this. So in my eyes, it's absolutely a championship. You know, it's one to be remembered forever.
For sure. And I think that that's what's cool, is because, you know, I mean, it's going to have a different feel to it. I mean, 2020, and you know this too, 2020 has been a very, very different year. Lots of people have seen so many changes in their lives, and so many different things that we go by. I mean, who would imagine that now when we go out in public, you know, we have to wear masks and we have to do all the things that we're going through. And, you know, when our kids go to school or when we go to work, people are having to take our temperature and make sure that we're not, you know what I mean, COVID-19. And you know what I mean, have we been quarantined? Have we been exposed? Do we, you know what I'm saying? Are we asymptomatic? This, that, the other. I mean, I can't believe that we're truly, you know what I mean, in this situation right now. And it's crazy to go through. But I think that, you know, these guys, like you said, it stands, you know what I mean? It's a testament to what they have done as their jobs. They have gone away from their families. They have missed out on some, you know, moments and memories that they can't get back. And that happens. And that's, you know, the choice of a lot of us in the careers and the decisions that we make. And I think that, you know, this is going to be a true championship. And I think that, you know, if LeBron and AD are standing at the end and holding up that trophy, it's legit. And you know what I'm saying? And I think to look at it any other way is just being a hater to the situation. You know, and I know that there's a lot out there There's people that have always hated on him, you know what I'm saying? Always trying to make the argument between him and Mike. And I think, you know what I'm saying, that's not a fair judgment. I don't think he's ever, you know what I'm saying, try to come across that way. And neither has Mike. Mike and him don't go at it about things, which is super cool that neither one of them who are in that conversation talk about it themselves. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else does the talking for them.
Right.
So yeah, like I said, I think that this will be cool if it's number 4. I mean, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for his family. I'm happy once again for the city of Cleveland, like the same way I was when he won championships out in Miami. Regardless of if he's winning in Cleveland or not, he's still a Cleveland boy, the same way you and I are.
Yep.
And, you know, we have always, you know what I'm saying, shouted out and represented that fact, you know what I'm saying? So we, you know what I'm saying, I appreciate what he's done for the city, for the people. You know, did he play his whole career there? No. But you and I both know we can't blame him for that, because there's a lot of times when owners and management didn't put the money into putting the team around him that he needed and that he deserved.
Absolutely.
So I can't knock him for that. His loyalty to the city of Cleveland has never changed. And that's the biggest part of that. You know what I'm saying? I never have knocked LeBron. When he came to Florida, I was in Florida. So who the hell am I to knock LeBron for coming to Miami? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was like, I have no right to be mad at him for making a move to Florida because he wants to get to somewhere a little bit nicer climate. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
and be able to be somewhere where he doesn't have to deal with the seasons changing and stuff like that. And I don't know if that was the reason to his decisions. I mean, you and I know, and we talked about it the other day, you know, about the Wade situation, and Wade was banged up and really wanted to pass some knowledge on to somebody who was younger, and him and LeBron were close. And I think that, you know, LeBron went there to gain the knowledge to become a champion. And then once he did that, he was able to come back home and use that to win a championship in Cleveland. And then, you know, now he wants to move on and wants to pass on some knowledge to somebody else younger. And I think that he's doing that with AD, which is super cool, because I think that, you know what I'm saying, it's the passing of the torch, like what Dwayne Wade did with him. I think he's doing it with AD right now.
Absolutely. And to touch on what he did for Cleveland when he was playing here, once he came back from Miami, I mean, I know how I was that night. I know how you were that night.
Mm-hmm.
I know how everyone in Cleveland felt. It was emotional. You know, I think that we shed tears of joy and relief, you know, like we finally made it. And just what a proud time to be a Clevelander, to be an Ohioan, and both of us being in Florida at the time. I mean, you know, it made me prouder. You know, I was just so jacked to have something like that happen, and to be able to witness it after such a drought in Cleveland, and what he still continues to do for Cleveland. You know, let's you know, pay respects on the fact that, like, he's opened up a school completely out of pocket. You know, he didn't have to do that, and I think that the haters of the world want to critique him too much on who he is as an athlete. You can't find any dirty laundry on him as a person, and so I get it. You know, you want to compare him to Michael Jordan, and like you said, they're not making that comparison with each other. I don't think LeBron ever came into this, you know, expecting to be Michael Jordan, nor did he really want to be. He knew his true potential, and he's only continued to grow and evolve as a player, which is as a fan of him, regardless of where he's at, is amazing to see. And it just makes me happy for him. You know, it makes me happy for him, his amazing family. And you can't hate. If you are, you're salty. It's all right, though.
Yeah, that's the truth. I mean, like I said, I think what's cool is that, like I said, you and I got to chop it up about the NBA bubble, a little bit about the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? What we think is going to happen. It looks like you know, Miami's taking a 10-point lead late in the fourth quarter with 3 minutes to go, and it looks like it's going to be a Miami Lakers matchup, and I don't mind seeing that. I like to see Jimmy buckets. You know what I'm saying? Taking in Tyler Hero and
yes.
Those boys don't play. Those boys don't play. Ben Adebayo, you know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna come and they ain't gonna just give it to the Lakers. It ain't happening like that. So I can't wait. You know what I'm saying? If that is the turnout of this championship that we about to witness, you know what I'm saying? Let's get it. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? And the good thing is that we'll be able to get our intake on it as well because it'll last probably about 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? The championship usually go for about 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real. Hopefully,
Yeah.
5, 6, 7 games. We'll stretch out and we'll see it for about a good 2 weeks, and then we'll move on and hopefully at the end of it, you know what I'm saying, everybody's happy. I know that there's a lot of people hoping that LeBron doesn't win his 4th chip, and if he does, they're gonna give it an asterisk. But I think if anybody else would have won it, they wouldn't have put an asterisk on it. So. With that being said, I don't know if you've been keeping up on the NFL. Tomorrow night's matchup, the former, last year's AFC matchup between Baltimore and Kansas City is coming up this Monday night. I'm excited for it, and I just want to pick your brain about it because I know that what Patrick and Lamar are to the game and see what you got.
Absolutely. And that's what those are two athletes that I love to talk on. I think a lot of people going into this season they didn't count Lamar out, but they definitely questioned whether or not he was going to perform. And for me, recognizing real, that man is nothing short of an athlete. And as a quarterback, such a powerhouse from all different angles. I mean, he's the complete package to the point where there was no counting him out on my end. He's one of the best at what he does. And as his career progresses, I think that he might go down in the debate of one of the greatest of all time. He quickly surpassed Michael Vick's record. And I thought it was awesome to watch, Mike Vick do a little video, kind of shout him out. I thought that was awesome. Just like watching that was a heartwarming moment. Mike Vick, no bad feelings. He was happy. He was proud to see someone, especially like Lamar, kind of to pass that on. And just like we talked about with the NBA, passing on that torch to another great athlete. It's not like it's some Joe Schmo taking it over just by chance. So super excited to watch the matchup, but to see where Lamar goes in his career. Pat Mahomes, love him. I love him for his personality and what he did with Kansas. He's a great athlete, and it's in some ways and I think it's those little one-step throws. He reminds me of Derek Jeter in so many ways. That swagger he brings when he steps on the field. Super funny individual. Love watching him when he's mic'd up. And I think it'll be a slug show. It'll definitely be a good one to watch for sure.
Yeah, that's what I think as well. Last week, I think Kansas City got pushed to the limit when they played the Chargers. They had a rough showing. I think that their defense couldn't stop too much, and that's always been what's been in question for Kansas City. Nobody's ever knocked what Patrick, and that offense is able to do as far as making moves and scoring points. The question was always, could the defense, stop the other team? They're going to have a rough time doing that with Lamar. Lamar's, he's bigger, he's stronger, he's older, he's smarter. He's got more weapons. You know what I'm saying? Like they added J.K. Dobbins in the offseason out of Ohio State. And, they put a couple more things together. And so I want to see what this Kansas City defense is able to do. Like I said, I think Lamar's was able to, they were able to add some weapons. I don't know if Kansas City was able to do the same. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know there was a draft and I know that they added some weapons, but were they able to match with the weapons that Baltimore was able to add? I don't think so. And I don't know truly, but I'm going to definitely go with Baltimore on this one. But I'm not counting out Kansas City and what Patrick's able to do because I mean Patrick is the champ. He's the reigning champ. So
Right. And I think that as the season progresses more, Kansas City will they'll start to adjust, and that's all they need to do realistically is find their spot, find out how they're going to make it work this season, just like they did last season, so it'll be kind of fun to watch them, match up against each other and then see what they do moving forward. So definitely excited for that.
Yeah. No, I couldn't complain. So I like I said, I can't wait for it to come on tomorrow night. I'll definitely be watching it. And that's pretty much, all we can do is watch those special matchups like this. Know that we're gonna get to see this for a long time to come. As long as these both, two stay injury free, and that's what I'm hoping and praying for both of them. So that we're able to witness this for many years to come. I love this matchup. They're two young, fresh kids that set, what I'm saying, the bar very high for the future. I think that we're going to see more and more quarterbacks like this. I don't think that, what it is that we've seen in the past is going to constantly stay. I talked about it before with the pocket passers, and I don't feel that pocket passers were going to stand the test of time forever. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be the minority. They're not going to be, the majority like they were in the past. I think that these guys that are able to move and run and get around, it is going to be where it's at. And it's going to be fun to watch, like, what I'm saying? And that's part of your era. And that's what I'm saying. My era was watching that pocket passer. Me personally, I was part of the Michael Vick era, which started what it is that we see today with the Lamar Jacksons and the Patrick Mahomes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. And this is actually something that I wanted to ask you. What's your thoughts on Burrow since getting into the NFL? As an Ohio boy, I think we always are going to root for the Ohio boy. But what's your take on him so far?
Luckily enough, I'm still a Cleveland fan at heart. So last Thursday night, I got to witness him play against the Browns, and I thought the kid looked fantastic. You know what I'm saying? With a team like the Browns, who I know a lot of people want to, knock them because they're from Cleveland, but they're a pretty good team. They got a good offense put together. They got a good defense put together. And Joe was able to get in there and have a matchup with them and really, what I'm saying, I think, shock some of those people that were doubting him, that were doubting that he was going to be able to contest with the Bengals. I talked about it earlier. Is he going to be able to produce a winning record right off the bat? Probably not. Let's be real. He's gonna have some tough times. He's gonna go through those tough times, but I think as people really get to know Joe, they're gonna enjoy Joe, and people are gonna want to come to Cincinnati to play with him. If he stays there, if not, once he's out of his rookie contract, if he chooses to go somewhere else, so be it. I think teams will be willing to spend money to get him and his services because of what he brings to the table. He just wasn't a fit at Ohio State physically on the field. He just kind of fell behind the Braxtons and the JTs, and you know what I'm saying, and it was tough to get out there. So I have no distaste for Joe going to LSU. I think he was great there. I think he did very well. Proud of what that dude was able to accomplish, and proud of what he's able to accomplish so far for Cincinnati. Will I cheer for Cincinnati? No. Will I cheer for Joe? Yes.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you nailed that right on the head there. Joe is someone that can truly take on, a challenge or a roadblock thrown in his way and handle it with a certain level of professionalism, which you love to see, especially coming from an athlete. He kind of handled a pretty shaky college career and ended up coming out on top. So of course I don't blame him for going to LSU and leaving Ohio State. that's also another thing I wanted to touch on because we're big fans of Ohio State. We're diehard fans, but most importantly, we got some serious love for watching these guys come in from high school. We're both super fans of QB1, which is a great show, and kind of watching the Under Armour quarterback gather. And it's not even just the quarterbacks, it's just the Under Armour teams that they put on for the high schoolers. I remember being able to watch Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence kind of just duke it out during that Under Armour weekend. And just amazing to watch because you knew just so much potential with these boys. QB1 comes out, Justin Fields is on it. Love Justin Fields, what he's doing. Super excited to watch him come into the NFL. And I say that without a doubt that he will be in the NFL. Same with Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a powerhouse once he gets there and gets established as an athlete. And I got mad love for Trevor Lawrence, regardless of what team he plays on. Dude's an animal. Dude's a savage on the field.
Oh, definitely. I mean, and it was funny because you and I mean, we've always talked about QB1 since QB1 came out. You know what I'm saying? And we talked about Justin Fields being on, and I know that Trevor wasn't on there, but Trevor should have been.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real about that, because Trevor should have been on there. I don't know how he got overlooked for it, because I've seen some other kids and quarterbacks that were on there that weren't up to his caliber.
Let's talk about that too. Let's talk about that kid that they put on that was playing for, like, you would think it was a JV team. You remember what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. It was a school that had just started a football program, and he just transferred. He transferred there like his senior year, and went there and played. And they had him on QB1, and I was like,
Basura.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I know that he was a pretty boy, and that was probably the reason why that and his mom was up, in media and photographing, and so she probably blew his career up a lot bigger than what it should have been for going to do something like that. Because when you go to a startup program like where he was at, and you are very, just trying to break the ice and get your first win of all time. That shouldn't have been on QB1. I would have liked to have seen Trevor on there instead. And I don't even know if we're talking about the particular season that Justin was on. Was that Justin's season?
Was it not?
I don't know. I think it was. I think that was Justin's season. And I was
think
like,
so.
Because of the fact that I think about him, I think about the first QB1, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my God. And we loved that season.
Yeah,
especially
the first QB1 was huge.
Especially with Tate Martell, so much hype behind him. I remember when you first told me about Tate, you said, you got to check out this kid. He's playing out of Las Vegas. And I was like, Las Vegas? Like, what do you mean there's a high school team out of Las Vegas? Then you go on to get me hip that they're the best in the nation. It's total powerhouse. It was crazy to see where that happened. And shout out to Tate Martell, even though, he's not really doing a whole lot now. It was cool to kind of see that, because as a kid, as such a young kid, still in high school, there was just so much hype, so much media around him. You kind of see, just like, with child actors, just like kind of what that hype and exposure will do to you and could potentially do to your career. So, I get that. I definitely get that.
No, yeah, Tate was fun to watch. So cool. Did the celebrity status at a young age get to him and get to his head? Yeah, of course it did. How could it not? You know what I'm saying? We talked about, I think season 2 was with Justin Fields. Season 3 was with the kid we were talking about earlier, you and I, Spencer Rattler. Yeah, that's going to Oklahoma right now. He lost yesterday to Kansas State, which is very surprising, because they were taking it to Kansas State. So for Kansas State to come back and beat them, it shows sometimes how maybe immature that whole team is. Spencer was very immature on the show on QB1. Very great athlete. Is kind of unmatched as far as his athletic skills. He's not a tall kid, though. He's not big. He's not strong. He is super fast. He does have a good arm, but he's very undersized and very. I don't really want to say anything bad about his. His maturity, but he's kind of immature. You know what I'm saying? Like his ego kind of gets to him, and it shows. And I think that sometimes his team doesn't seem to follow when he leads, and if I can say it in such a way.
And I think they're in some ways searching for a leader, but maybe they don't want to commit fully, and who knows what goes on behind the scenes. Maybe there's some beef there. You won't really know, and I think that maybe time will tell. But it would be a shame to watch these kids potentially lose a spot in the NFL because they just can't get it together.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's kind of always what has been tough about watching these reality shows. You know what I'm saying? We talk about that. You and I, we love reality shows. I love reality shows. I love a QB1. You know what I'm saying? I love the show Big Brother. You and I were talking about this the other day. I'm a huge Big Brother super fan. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to be on the show when I was close to your age and thought that I would have been able to compete. You know what I'm saying? And now that I'm an old man, still want to live that glory day, but do I think I can compete so much anymore? Nah, probably not the way I could have at, 25, 26, 27, 28 years old. You know what I'm saying? Back then, I would have been able to compete. You know what I'm saying? Now at 43, maybe not so much. So, so we love these reality stories. We love to see where these kids go. Sometimes when it's doesn't turn out the right way, we feel bad for them, of course. But this was just, I think, a hiccup in Spencer Rattler's little career. It's early in his career. So, sky's the limit for that kid. Hope the best for him. Hope the best for Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence. Can't wait to see where those guys end up. Probably, I would say most likely next draft. You're going to see the 1 and 2 quarterbacks going out in the draft. And it's really to what team and what needs they have for those teams on who goes 1 or 2.
Yes.
They're both great choices, both great quarterbacks. So like I said, it's to what you need. They both can do pretty much anything. And I think they're 2 of the highest prospected quarterbacks coming out in the last decade, at least, is Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence.
Absolutely. Speaking of TV, you watching anything lately?
Actually, yeah. You and I were talking about this earlier. And, we chat about Kingdom. I know on your podcast, you talked about how Kingdom reminded you a lot about me and the chats that we used to have in the back and you know what I'm saying, in the backyard and those backyard chats and you know what I'm saying, and just chopping it up and talking about, you know what I'm saying, MMA and stuff like that, and just how much that reminded you of me and we talked about just that show and just how cool it is and how awesome it is. And then you and I chopped it up about Cobra Kai and we talked about that, and we, can't wait for a season 3 of that to come out. And something that's a little bit off base, it's not about mixed martial arts. It's not something that I usually watch. I'm not a huge cop show fan. I don't watch cop shows very often. I don't like to watch too many shows about that kind of stuff because it's a lot about murders and stuff, and I don't care to see that on TV. I know that it's going on. I'm not naive to it, but I don't need to see it in my face kind of all the time. But the show Lethal Weapon is a fantastic show. And if you get a chance to watch it, it's got, the Wayans brother, and he is, you know what I'm saying, the older gentleman in it that's looking to kind of, end his career and and get out of there. And but like you and I talked about earlier, you know, he Damon plays Roger Murtaugh, and there's a gentleman named Clayne Crawford who plays Martin Riggs. And if Martin Riggs, the character, doesn't catch you within the first 5 minutes of the show, turn it off. And that's all I can say. You know what I'm saying? Like if that first 5 minutes of that show and that character that is playing Martin Riggs, and you know what I'm saying, and his name's Clayne Crawford, and this guy is a fantastic actor, and just sucks you in to what it is that, you know what I'm saying, that he is, and really taps into that, you know, when Lethal Weapon was the movie and Mel Gibson was Martin Riggs, and what this dude's been able to do, he has taken Mel Gibson's, you know what I'm saying? When we talked about blueprints earlier with Chuck Liddell, he has taken Mel Gibson's blueprint and tapped it into this character, Martin Riggs, and plays it to the T. Plays it to the T. You know what I'm saying? So if you get a chance, check it out. It's called Lethal Weapon. It's a series now. It's got Clayne Crawford and Damon Wayans on it. Super good. Probably been out for a while. I just started watching it on Hulu. Great show though, dude. And like I said, if it doesn't catch you in the first 5 minutes, shut it off, because then it's not for you.
Awesome. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to checking that out. And anytime you send something my way, never disappointed, you know, never. So definitely check it out. You said it's available on Hulu, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, I don't know where it originally plays at, but like I said, I was able to catch it on YouTube or Hulu. Sorry, not YouTube, Hulu.
Right.
And you know, just super excited about that. So,
awesome.
I guess right now what we'll do is we'll get ready to wrap it up. You know, I appreciate you for coming out and chopping it up with me. I'm going to give you a chance to shout yourself out and kind of you know, talk about the podcast that you got going on, because I know you putting some time and effort into that, and tell people where they can find you. You know, kind of shoot you some questions, you know what I mean, outside of this, because this is just the start of this, you know what I mean, we're just getting this going. We're looking to do this, you know, in the future, and we'll keep you guys updated on what days we're looking to do. Sunday doesn't seem like too bad of a day for us in this afternoon time, so we'll keep you updated for sure when we lock in particular dates and times, and well, be on the lookout for it on Facebook. And I'm going to let T go ahead and shout himself out right now.
Yeah, definitely. You know, so I do have my podcast. It's called Mind If I Crash, and that podcast, it's, you know, it's comedy, it's entertainment, it's a talk show. It's a place for me to, you know, speak my opinion on different things, and you know, tell, you know, life stories, things that I've been through, sometimes funny, sometimes making fun of a light situation, and sometimes just keeping it real. You know, it's somewhat turned into somewhat of an interview podcast, you know, where I have different people on, artists of all forms, whether it be musicians, photographers, fighters, you know, anything. You know, if you're a creative being, I like to have you on and to learn something, and for anyone that's listening to learn something as well. You know, definitely a curious person, and that helps me grow and, you know, become more knowledgeable if I'm asking questions and learning things, you know. So you can follow the podcast account on Instagram. It's called Mind If I Crash, mind_if_crash, and that's on Instagram. You can follow me on my personal Instagram, which is Tristan Taliano, and same with my Facebook, Tristan Taliano, my Twitter, Tristan_Taliano. You know, follow me. If you're looking to get on the show, send me a message on any platform. And, you know, I sell cars as well. If you go onto my Facebook, you'll see a lot of my podcast posts. You'll see a lot of what I do for my career. And, you know, I I'm very passionate about selling cars. I love it. And it's something that has definitely taken me to the next level in my life. So I'm very grateful to be in the business, and I take great pride in the business as well. So, whatever you need, get a hold of me. And I love being on the show. I want to thank you for starting this. This is the start to something pretty cool. Definitely excited. Are you muted?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Thank you for calling that. Well, yeah, like I said, I appreciate you coming on. I mean, we enjoyed doing this tonight for y'all. We had a super cool guest on with Easton. Super excited to really get this going. He and I were so anxious today and the days preceding about getting this going, and happy that it's finally come to fruition. Getting this thing together. We're gonna stay busy with it. He's busy as in whole. He's doing a webcast. He's doing a podcast. He's a father. He's working. He's doing his thing. So when I'm able to catch some free time with him, we're gonna do this and put it out there for y'all. So I hope you enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna keep this going. I'll give myself a little shout out because I'm gonna try to get some things going here in the future. I'm gonna have the business going back up. Super excited for that to go. When we get that going, I will let you know both on the Generations group page, my personal page on Facebook, Instagram, the business Let's Be Real is going. I do have a YouTube channel going as well. So hit me up on there. It's called The Business. And you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be fun. We're excited, and this is what we've been waiting to do. And we're not gonna stop after episode 1. So keep a lookout for it. It's gonna be called The Business. Let's Be Real. I'm gonna have my own personal chat. We were happy to do this Generations for y'all, and kind of give you, like I said, an outlook on 2 different eras of Tristan and mine's eras, kind of just chatting about things. We're going to talk about all kinds of different stuff. This is just the beginning of what we're looking forward to. So yeah, like I said, keep a lookout for this Generations podcast. Keep a lookout for The Business. Listen for Mind If I Crash podcast. Super cool podcast. Super excited for that. Also got a younger son who's on YouTube as well. Gavin does Gavinized. Take a look out for him. He does some sneaker reviews right now. He's been doing his thing. Got to get him back on here, making some new videos. He'll probably jump on this podcast as well, this webcast with Tristan and I as well, because he's from an even different era from the 2 of us. So super excited for that. Just kind of want to give you guys, my little quote of the day. My quote of the day is, what's your why? We all try to go out and look for it. And sometimes it takes us a lot longer than others. But once you realize and truly feel what your why is, and you know it, nothing can stop you. So want to keep you guys all, saying in touch of what it is that we're trying to do for y'all. Hope you guys enjoyed the first show. Tristan, like I said, dude, totally appreciate you coming on, man. Totally appreciate you. Totally appreciate Easton. Hope you enjoyed what it was that we were able to deliver for y'all. Check us out on Facebook Live. Check us out on YouTube, Twitch. We'll keep it going, and y'all keep checking us out. All right. Peace.
Take it easy.